planet of Cybertron. Cybertrons. 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 Cybertron. Cybertrons. Cybertrons. Cybertron. 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 Cybertrons. Cybertron.
We now return you to the children of Primus.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Children of Primus's Frenzy Freestyle Sunday. And how's everyone doing this evening?
Fantastic.
Yeah, how are you doing, Mr. Magnus?
We're good. It's been a productive 2 weeks.
Nice. Well, and got CON Bach Arch just about to join us. How's it going, sir?
Hello. Little groggy.
Wake up.
Time to wake up. So this week we'll have Bot versus Con. We're also YouTubers that will be joining us shortly. And before they jump in, what reveals do you guys have for this week?
Oh, I got a big boy.
What is that?
That's a Superion.
Oh, is that one that you showed us in the box a couple weeks ago?
Yeah. This is him all transformed up into the chest mode. Call it there. But yeah, he's a big, massive boy.
Yeah, that is pretty big.
Yeah. He's gonna be as big as Kang Toys, that's for sure. There we go. I don't know, my copy just does not want to stay on this one side, so I might have to put a little bit of clear nail polish on there to tighten up that joint. But he is massive. But I think he looks really good.
Yeah, it's going to be a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Like here's a hand. like that's just him in one arm.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
that's insane. That is nice. Yeah, what else did you get this week?
Oh, I got New Age Optimus Prime with the trailer, the G1 cartoon, but I got a really good score on something. And, you know, I've been telling everybody to check out this site, Bombasy. .net for a while, but look what I got for $20 Canadian. It's a black Jetfire. Now I'll transform them later on in the while we're streaming and whatnot, but like $20, man.
Is that the TNT 1B?
Yeah.
Sky Thunder? Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been debating on it. He keeps going down on Bumblebee, and I'm just waiting to pull the trigger on it. Yeah, it's $15 American now.
Yeah. Well, no, I looked today. He's 14. Yeah. So if you don't have him, for that price, it's a no-brainer. He's a good sized character, and here I can show him with like New Age Grimlock, and you can see like that'd be good size comparison. Now, I do have their version of Jetfire coming, so it'll be a good tell, right? Like, but for $14, I wish they had it in the normal color. I'd buy it, just the normal colors. But they're sold out. But you can still get this guy for $14.
Cool. And then what else did you get for the week?
Oh, I'm not even going to grab it. So much stuff, man. So much stuff. I'm like slacking so bad, but like it's hard. I'm trying to juggle everything all at once, and it's just not manageable. So I just got to slow down a little bit.
Steven, what do you have there?
The same brawn that Magnus had a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Just got it today. They only had one of them, and I was like, I might as well pick them up. And then I went ahead and picked up that RID 2015 Bumblebee. Yeah, do not play with toys when you're walking home, or you might pop the tire off.
Well, you lost the tire?
Yeah, but it ain't
It's
that
gone?
big of a deal. I can replace it for cheap. I mean, still be in the green, like for how much it would be to get a full one on eBay. So I'm not super worried about it. But I was just like, oh damn! Once I realized, oh man, I lost that one when walking home from the store. Then I got a Siege Springer finally for like 20. So I was like, oh, he's complete. Nice. So
yeah. Now, has anybody started collecting this X Transbots Devastator?
I guess the answer is no.
I guess so. Because, like, there's a lot of X Transbot stuff that I do enjoy, but there's a lot that I don't enjoy. So, like, I was debating on whether I should pull the trigger on that because, I don't know anybody that has one. Like, not even
that's
one.
That's the new one. I think I'm on the pre-order for it, but none of them have been released yet.
Yeah. And that's the weird thing, right? Like, it's been up for a while. Like,
right.
I don't know why.
It's been up for a long time.
I don't know why no one has. Like not one. And like I want to see someone in hand have it before I pull the trigger on something like that because they're going to be quite expensive from what I was told, like $220 a piece.
I think I felt my soul leaving my body when you said that.
The MX-41 ground bite.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's the first one. He's the first one, but it's still in production as far as I know.
Yeah, and I just got a letter telling me that if I want the Lewin resources, I got to put in $50 more, and they have a new price for it, and it'll be shipped in 2 shipments because it's so heavy. Like it's literally going to be $600 just to ship the damn 2 pieces. Because it's like almost 4 feet tall, right? And then not only is it almost 4 feet tall, and that's just robot mode. Base mode, apparently it's a lot bigger. When it's city mode or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, and to come into 2 pieces, that worries me. Like, is that joint going to hold up over time? Or is it going to be something I got to screw together? Like on my own, stuff like that. Like for something that heavy, you got to know it's got a lot of die cast in it to be that heavy, right? Like it's 48 pounds or something like that.
Well, I'd say city mode. I guess that the other challenge is where would you fit that on a display, considering the weight and the size.
Okay, so that's what I was thinking too, and that's what I was saying in my head. You know what? I need someone's basement so I could set up like the old school train style freaking
Yes.
tables and just throw them on there and put all my bots on there. You
Yes.
know, because otherwise, where am I going to put this guy in city mode if he's even bigger than 4 feet in city mode?
Mhm.
We don't even see pictures of all that yet. We're just seeing just a little bit of him, like whatever the carrier mode and then the robot mode. We're not seeing the city mode. Like I haven't seen it yet, and it's like wow.
Wow.
Hey,
So,
Sheba Kobe.
it's gonna literally be MP scale. That's what I like about it, right? Like it's not like their Optimus Prime where it's just a big gimmick where he's huge and all that kind of stuff, and you see little kids riding on it. This thing's actually going to be like for MP scale Transformers
Nice.
to go side by side with them, and I can just imagine how many people are going to start using that thing in the background as size comparison. Oh well, he's about this big to my Metroplex.
So just before we go over to Magnus, I actually want to welcome in TF Bot. So, Bot, how are you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Oh, hello.
We're good.
I already know. He's like on adrenaline high right now for TFCon. He's like, I bet you that's the only thing on his mind right now, right?
Oh man, it's been a kind of a dream. And even though I've been to TFCon several times now, I don't know, something special about this one. I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny is we just had a TFCon here in Canada, and I couldn't even believe it. Like I just started my channel, and I got people come. I had 3 people there come up to me and be like, "Oh, are you Freakenstein?" I'm like, "Yeah." So and Mr. Magnus too, right? Where he got recognized from the channel too somewhere, didn't he? I don't know.
Sorry, I'm having computer issues over here. I'm paying attention now.
He was talking about how that you were at that auction and that guy had the badge.
Yeah,
And you said,
yeah.
that's...
Oh, yeah.
And he was saying that's a show he watches. That guy is how that guy recognized you. He was alluding to.
Yeah, I got totally fanboyed on. He was all bubbling. He's like, "Come on back and check out everything we're going to be putting up for sale before everybody else can look at it." As you can see, my collection's quite extensive. But of course, they didn't have anything there that I was interested in. It was mostly comic stuff. But it was still neat to get that experience.
Yeah, and again, I just went to another mini con down here in my city at the casino, and 3 more people came up to me and were like, "Aren't you Freakenstein?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It's weird. It's weird. It's a different vibe when you go when you're actually putting yourself on camera. Now people can recognize you. You know what I mean? And it's a different vibe when you're going.
So welcome in the comments, Jonathan Walker. He's saying evening, everyone. And he also asks, is that the guy from Bot versus Con? And yes, it is. So, so as we're introducing everyone, over in our right corner, part of our Children of Primus crew is Mr. Magnus. In the bottom right, so top right corner, bottom right corner is SETTOM Bach Arts, and bottom left corner, Freakenstein 1984 and myself, Spin. So as we welcome Bot from Bot versus Con, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. And Con, aka James, he'll be joining shortly. He just sent me a message. He had to restart his computer or something like that. So he should be joining. Computer problems everywhere, I guess. So, but thanks for having me and us, and looking forward to this conversation.
Cool.
So when you mention that, it's like this. Everybody I know that's been doing, even like us, it seems like it works better on our phones. Like the stream doesn't interrupt. We don't have no microphone problems, nothing. So maybe the way to go is just through your phone.
Well, unless your battery runs out, then you just disappear in mid conversation.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
All
we've had
smoke and mirrors.
that happen a time or two.
And
Hello.
there's Con and also Deceptikitty, one of our other members. So everyone's joining us. Welcome everyone. Welcome Con. Welcome Deceptikitty. And again, welcome Bot. How's everyone doing?
Great.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Cool.
So I've been fighting with Facebook for over a year, trying to change the email that I originally set my account up with. No longer exists. I cannot receive an email from that because that web address doesn't exist anymore.
Mhm.
And they're like, can you prove this to us? And I'm like, I still get on this account from my phone because I've had the same phone since I created this damn thing. And it's the only way that I can get it. I can't reset my password. And it's been a year, and I finally now have my third screen to where I can get to my Facebook shit to where I can send it to us here.
Nice.
It's been a year arguing with them that I've had to prove that this is my account.
Love
I'm
Facebook.
having a
Yeah,
thing
they
like that with
can.
Twitter. Someone took over my Twitter account. It's posting some cryptocurrency stuff. Way to
Not
go,
good.
X. Way to go, X.
Yeah. So
Oh, look at all these nice pictures. Oh, so good. So good.
So over to Bot
All right,
and Con.
cool.
So how long have you guys had your channel?
So we started end of last year, just kind of
Nice.
on a humbug, I guess you would say. We were actually at TFCon Chicago, and both our significant others were with us, and we were just kind of mingling and stuff. And then it was like, you guys should start a channel. For what? And then it was just like, yeah, you guys would probably be really good because you have different ideas and different theories about Transformers, even though you're still talking about the same thing. It would be probably pretty interesting. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then when we started talking a little bit more, once we got back from Chicago, it was just like, hey, let's see what happens. It'll be fun. And here we are today.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting actually how we met. So when I went to TFCon LA in 2022, my wife was like, and excuse the camera, I don't know why it's getting bright and getting but when we were in LA of 2022, my wife was like, I'm going to find you a friend because I'm not outgoing. So she was like, I'm going to find you one. I'm like, please don't. You're going to embarrass me. And we were at the customizing class, and Bobby had nobody to talk to. He was there alone. And one thing led to another, and we were going out to lunch, was it?
Yep.
And everything spiraled from there.
That's kind of sounds like me and Deceptikitty. We met at the con. What was it, 2020 or 21? Yeah.
Yeah,
we've
21.
known
The
each other
audio
ever
there.
since.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've known each other ever since. I was kind of in a lost world at that time, and I didn't know anybody. Or in that fact, I didn't remember anybody at that time. So, we hit it off. We hung out pretty much the whole weekend, right? So,
We have our
never
names
know
in
who
common.
meet, right?
Well, I'm going to say one of our other members who isn't here at the moment because he's usually working Sunday nights. His name's Mike, and him and myself, we went to school together, not knowing that we were fans of Transformers. Decades later, like he's asking me to help him with some online stuff, and then that's when the conversation came about that we're both fans of Transformers. Started the Facebook page, did memes, jokes, other things, and then during the pandemic, we're like, why don't we just start a YouTube channel just for the fun of it? And, then slowly, people started joining into the lives, like Mr. Magnus. Like at the time, like he had no internet, like barely a cell phone signal, but he was in every week. And, it's cool that everyone just came together as a community, as Transformers fans. So I guess I would throw a question to either one of you. When did you initially get into Transformers?
James, you can go first.
3 years old. My mom bought me the I'm looking at it right here, or another one I got in package. It's the Beast Wars Primal as a Bat and Megatron 2-pack. That was my first ever Transformer. And I want to say I was hooked. Of course, I was a little too young to remember if I was or not, but I absolutely loved it. And I loved the TV show, and it just spiraled out of control to where I have way too many.
You can never have too many. You got to collect them all. This is original Pokemon, man. Come on.
Yeah, for me, it was probably so from the beginning. So I was probably 7 or so when Transformers came out. So I was there from the beginning. My first Transformer was Hound, and I just remember running around the playground, and everybody would call out, whoever their favorite Transformer was at the time. And then you acted like you were transforming, and you probably do something with your arms or something like this, and then roll on the ground, and you're like, okay, I'm a car, or if you're put your arms out and you're flying, things that kids do with your imagination. So that was kind of it for me. And then I would say I fell out of Transformers and recently got back into it, and that's what pretty much everything behind me has happened.
And he's got the bug too. He's got the new age bug too. Yeah.
I got it, but I smacked it. So I got this guy in the mail.
Why?
It was like Friday, and I was just like, man, he's too tiny. I'm an MP collector, and I was just like, yeah, he's way too tiny. So I think I'll just pick up the ones that are colors that we don't see in the MP scale or something like that, or ones that just really make a difference for me. So
well,
James
I got
can hold out on his joke.
I got 14 coming. I'm hooked.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be buying the whole G1 cast eventually, so stay tuned.
So am I. Hey, that means we can have battles.
Yes.
I win. I got Ravage.
Now, between the both of you, are you more focused on the newer figures, or do you still collect any older figures?
Why don't you take that first, Bobby?
So I'm definitely in on the newer figures, but backstory, I lost all my belongings in 97. So my whole Transformer collection, I lost it, and I just started picking up figures from time to time when I would see them. And then once I found out about third party maybe 3 years ago,
okay,
that is what did it for me, and it's been downhill since then. So third party has been probably my biggest glory and my biggest disappointment, probably to my wife. But so I think she might be watching, so I'm not going to say exactly how much I've spent, but I probably picked up
25 cents. Don't worry about it.
Just about every figure that I've been looking for from numerous brands. So now that the KOs for G1 are coming out, and I've been picking those up because it's either they're holes that I don't have in my collection from trying to rebuild everything, or something like that. So a little bit of both for me.
Yeah, for me, it's the same thing. I've been in the third-party game since it started. My first third-party was the Fans Project Nemesis Magnus upgrade set. So third-party is pretty much where I focus on. But I do like to pick up vintage, like Beast Wars. Not so much the G1 figures, but there's some Beast Wars and Machine Wars figures that I do like, or that I want to complete my collection. But other than that, I focus mostly on third-party.
Okay, cool. Let's catch up on the comments. So Jonathan Walker on YouTube says the Legends bots are so scary because they look so good. Worried about the rabbit hole. And Professor D, me and him also went to school together and collected Transformers, says, I fondly remember getting my G1 Hound. He's 39 years old, still on the shelf next to my MP Hound. And it's kind of scary when you realize like some of these figures are like older than, even like
Cars?
some people that we know, or yeah, older than cars. And like these figures are 30, 40 years old. Charlie C, another member who's in the comments, says, don't tell the spouse in regards of the price tag. And Jonathan Walker says facts at Charlie.
Yeah. And if she's watching, she just her thought process now is kind of like, I just know you spent a shit ton of money, so I don't want to know how much. Good. We'll keep it at that.
And let's see,
So this-
Frankenstein, what
This
do
was
you
one
have
of my
there?
first Beast Wars characters I bought. I just bought it this year, but it's also signed. I don't know if you can see the signature
Oh,
there,
that's cool.
Nice.
but $20.
Oh, that's a great price for that figure. It goes for a lot more nowadays.
Yeah, and it's like the 30th anniversary Transformers there. So,
Mhm.
but he's got it signed by somebody, but I cannot read what it says. IDO. Don't know what that is.
I don't know voice actors, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Richard
It
Newman.
could be. What is it?
His Richard Newman is the voice actor for Rhinox.
So that's who I got the signature of.
Oh,
I
it
would
says-
assume so.
Yeah. So,
It was me.
I don't know. I'm getting ready.
Come here, let me sign something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$20. I got you.
So Jay Barnett in YouTube, welcome, says the guys in the top right and top middle and in the center have huge collections. So
well, thank you.
Real big ones, guys.
You don't even want to see my collection, okay? It's all in black totes right up to the ceiling. So yeah.
The second floor of my house is dedicated to this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my basement. This is just one of my rooms. Soon, I mean, we haven't done it yet, but we're actually planning on doing a kind of a walkthrough of our collections.
nice.
And
Yeah. I only got about 3,000.
Only.
yeah,
Only. I'm missing
30
about 6,000 of them.
Yeah, 3,200 here. 3,200 individual blocks.
yeah.
Oh
I'm-
well, damn.
I'm scared to- I'm
If I
scared
got to
to
go
come
that route, then I got to consider all those combiners I got because I count them as
Yeah.
one.
No, I count them as individuals.
I count them as individuals.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think we did something which I didn't realize. We did something on the channel probably a month and a half ago, and I had over 100 Hasbro figures that I hadn't opened, and I was just like, wow, I didn't realize it had gotten out of hand like that. So it's a problem, and it's a fun collection. It's fun collecting. So one day I'll sit down and count. It might take me a minute.
So you just tell the wife it's an investment. I could sell them later for mega bucks. That's all you say. This is our retirement.
Yeah, she's like, but you're not gonna sell them, and I was like, yeah, you're right.
So this is what you tell her. Say, from now on, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to buy 2 of each thing.
She already thinks I do. She's like, don't you already have that? Yeah, but it's not.
No.
It's the same character, but it's by a different brand.
Mhm. Well, I mean, usually we have like a handful of questions, so I'll kind of incorporate them like while we're streaming and stuff. But
I
the
got some
one
questions.
cool, we'll get over to your questions. And the one question I'm thinking of that we kind of jump around a bit, and as you said, you kind of got back into, or you fell out of Transformers, got back into it. Do you think the Bay movies have that influence in in you coming back into Transformers, and I have a second question after you guys answer that one.
You can take that one,
Okay.
James. I might be a
I was young enough when the Bay movies came out. It just felt like the next phase of Transformers. So I didn't fall out. It didn't affect me. Some of the toys are great. From the first movie, toy wise. Now I'm not the biggest fan of the designs, but as a kid they were fun. But it didn't bring me in. I was always more into that classics, alternators type of thing. That's what I was looking for.
Cool.
But, family members don't know that when you're buying new stuff. So I do have quite a bit of the TF1 movie toys, and I do enjoy them. I think they're great figures, especially the ones that were not in the movie, like Wreckage. That's one of my favorite figures. It's just so much fun.
Right.
So, I appreciate them for what they are.
Cool. And Butt?
Yeah, so if the only options were the Bayverse figures, I would be out on Transformers again. No offense to anyone who collected.
Comment right there, right over there.
Yeah, no offense, but I liked the first movie. I hated the toys. The second movie was just like, okay, it's decent. I hated the toys. And as we've progressed, I just really haven't I don't like the designs of the characters. Even watching the movies, I don't like the design or the look of the characters. So of course, the transition from what you see on screen to the actual toy doesn't always hold up as well. So it was even worse to see it as a figure. I was like, I'm not buying this. And so it would have probably pushed me back out if that was all.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way because all those robots from the movies, they're trying to make them too human. I prefer them looking like robots. Like, that's a big thing for me. Like, when I collect even my KOs, when I'm looking at the KOs, like, I'm looking, does it still look like a robot? Even if it's a new character that's never been seen, never been touched, it has nothing to do with really the Transformer world. It's just an actual Transformer that someone created. I look at that and say, is it too humanized? And if it is, I won't buy it. I'd rather them look like their vehicles perfectly and then look like robots when they're robots.
Mm-hmm. Now, the second part of the question, in terms of the influence of the Bay movies, as for myself, joining the different Facebook groups and everything, and then seeing everybody's different collections, you start to realize that a lot of us, whatever toys we got when we were kids, we put them on like a bookshelf or on top of the TV or something, and then we just kept going, and we were doing that years before the live action movies existed. So then looking at some of the, everyone's collections today, like your guys' collections that everyone's looking at, you start to realize that it wasn't just local, like globally, a lot of children were, now become adults, building better shelves, putting LED displays, and then slowly backtracking for characters they couldn't find when like eBay came about, the thrift stores, and just building it up. So in a sense, we were always fans and always stayed as fans. So whether the Bay movies came out or not, it wouldn't have changed what we collected or displayed our collections.
I can't agree more. I think that since I came back into it, it wasn't the Bay movies that got me to come back into it. It was actually when they started doing the MP Transformers. And I remember going into Toys R Us to buy a gift for like a baby shower or something like that. And I saw Optimus Prime, and I was just like, dang, this is huge for one. And it was just like, oh, this is different. The box was heavy, and it was just that this isn't my Optimus Prime from 84. This is something new, and the price tag on it was a lot more. I might have to try it. And I remember sitting there reading the instructions on how to do this, where it was different. As a kid, you got it, you took it out the box, you're like, okay, cool, I know how to do it. Yes, I was like, wait a minute, I got to turn the page and stuff. So the Bayverse movies didn't do that for me, and so I actually felt sorry for the kids that were having these toys because they were seemed mostly plastic and I grew up around some die cast in the legs or something like that or whatever. So it's like you're charging more for cheaper quality again as an adult,
right?
Looking at these, I was just like, oh, this is terrible. I feel sorry for your family. It's just like this is bad. Is this what our kids are going to grow up with? They're going to take over the world. Oh, this is terrible. So I feel like the idea of the Bayverse movies was more so to grab the attention of new people that maybe either didn't know about Transformers, meaning the kids, and could get a taste of it, or to hit that nostalgia button for older people. It's like, oh man. But then I think it actually just created what ended up happening with me and James is we like Transformers, but we have totally two ideas and perspectives of what we like from Transformers.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you there, Bobby, because the Revenge of the Fallen toys are the most complicated Hasbro toys that have ever come out. And they gave me a appreciation for complicated transformations, which is why I'm sticking with third party. That Revenge of the Fallen Leader Prime is, even though if you don't like it, it's an engineering marvel. It is so much fun to transform, and it's so complicated. And I love transforming that thing back and forth. And I got it as a gift, like I was saying. So I am going to disagree with you because those Transformers are great. They transform amazingly. After that, when they dumbed down the Transformers for, I think, Dark of the Moon, that's when the quality really started to go down in my eye. As somebody who was actively buying the figures because I was 18, I say that the Revenge of the Fallen toys are really cool. And I would tell you to go get the Leader Class Optimus to transform it. No, you're not going to. But I think it's a lot of fun to transform.
Bring yours to TFCon and I'll transform it.
I only have the black wing blade one, and that one's way too pricey to bring with me on the plane.
And Professor D, who's not here with us, one conversation that we had before in terms of simple transformations and then third party or MP transformations is basically the difference between playing checkers and chess. Whereas you just want to play a simple game of checkers, that's where a simple 1 or 2 step transformer comes in. But if you're going with the MP scales or the third parties, it's more like playing chess, where there's a lot of instructions and details to these characters, but it's constructed really well, really well done. As Freakenstein is holding one of his characters at the moment.
Yeah.
So complex. I hate it, but I love it. I'll never transform it again, but it was very, very confusing transformation. I will be the first to say that no matter what, this thing was really confusing.
Mine came with a broken piece, so
yeah, you were saying that.
So yeah, so I actually showed James yesterday. It's sitting on one of my shelves in its alt mode, and I just didn't even worry about changing it to the combined mode yet. So I have a
Hopefully they can fix that for you, whoever you got it from.
Yeah.
So
hopefully.
So Jonathan Walker on YouTube. Going back to our earlier part of the conversation, is asking Mr. Magnus, do you count headmasters as 2?
So then I would just have to count the cars, because when he's a robot, he's one bot.
Okay.
I guess he'd be a robot without a head.
No, I guess now throw that with Power Masters or Target Masters.
Same difference. He's got to have his weapon. No, I don't count headmasters or target masters as 2. Just like the new what was his the new seeker that we got. He came with 2 target masters. I count that as 1 bot, not 3. The Optimus Prime that came with the 2 target masters. I count that as 1 bot, not 3.
Cool. Jonathan Walker says, I agree. I agree, but it's more the Bay movies. We had a chance to go to the toy stores, Toys R Us, and look at all the toys they had. Now kids go to Walmart/Target and see a few toys.
So just so I can get a feel of where you guys are coming from, are you all U.S. based or are you Canadian based?
We're U.S. based.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
So-
you're where I'm at.
Yeah, so he just hit a soft spot. Moment of silence for Toys R Us.
But see, we didn't have Toys R Us where I grew up. We had a place called Keister's, and it was actually a lumber store. But Keister's big selling point was only Santa has more toys than Keister's. And they had 5 full rows. And this is a store the size of, Lowe's, Home Depot, stuff like that. And it was the big hardware stores we had in our area. But they had 5 full rows of nothing but toys and bikes and stuff like that. So my dad being construction, every weekend we were at Keister's. That's where I'll be in the toy aisle, Dad.
Yeah, I think for me growing up, I mean, there was Toys R Us was like the mecca of them all, but then we also had, and I'm originally from California. James is in California as well, so I mean, we had like KB Toys and Playco, and then you had your, kind of your off stores like I guess it would be equivalent to like a CVS, but like when I was a kid, it was like Thrifties and stuff like that. So it was, you could always find Transformers, but if you wanted to go see, the museum of Transformers, you would go to like a Toys R Us or so. So, and we just, his comment hit home because you go to Walmart or Target and it's, 5 different figures, but it's like 20 of them because it's the ones the shelf warmers that nobody wants. And, you can never find the actual ones or it's the ones that have been out for, 6 months, 8 months or whatever. And they're trying to still charge full price for them. So it's
well, wait till I get to do my reveals today.
Yeah, it's the same for me, like Bobby, Toys R Us, KB Toys, and then we had a mom and pop toy store. But part of me is happy because I'm sick of seeing bumblebees. I remember when I was 2010, 2015, you just see the whole wall, like we talked about, all of it was Bumblebee, whether that was Prime or movie or whatever. And that made me hate Bumblebee to this day. But I do miss like going into KB Toys and seeing all the different stuff, or, being able to walk from one aisle to the next and see the McFarlane toys and the Transformers and all of that stuff. So.
And
I heard you said you don't like Bumblebee. Don't make me cut you. We'll cut you. You see this? I can cut you.
I'll get my Nemesis Prime on him.
Nice. Duke Nukem from YouTube says, LOL, that's exactly what I just saw at Walmart. Yeah, the Walmarts in our area are pretty bad when it comes to Transformers. Like they not only that they don't properly stock them or take care of the aisle, but one of the Walmarts close to me, they kind of shifted the Transformers part into, it's like half of the Barbie aisle, while everything else like Marvel and anything else, quote unquote boys toys are still in their section, but Transformers is in the Barbie section, and it always looks like a mess.
Watch out, boys! It's a crossover. Ken and Optimus are gonna go have an adventure.
Instead of Oppenheimer and Barbie, will be the next Transformer movie in Barbie, number 2.
Well, Freakenstein. So you mentioned that you had a couple questions.
Yeah, I do, but Deceptikitty was about to say something, I think.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that when I worked in the Toys R Us, it was like super strict. Like everything was in its place. Like we were considering like what's in the boys section, what's in the girls section, what's in like the other toys section, like, or the puzzle toys. Like it was, but now like it's Walmart looks like other nonsense now. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
But it's funny you say that because like the thing, like personally, I'm not one to buy the newer toys. Like my stuff is all from 84 up to 88 possibly, like, you know, as gifts or toys that I buy from after school jobs and everything. But occasionally when I go into Walmart, I'll just walk through the toy aisle and actually, like, I used to go through the toy aisle when my children were younger, but the baby section always properly stocked. The games, like, there's certain parts of the toy section always properly stocked, but Transformers, a disaster. Like, they literally do not care about that section.
I don't think it's just that part of
because
the
of my 3 screens. Oh, sorry. Because of my 3 screens, you know, I can't present. So I just put one. I put 2 pictures on our Discord. Do the bottom one. This is a hidden Walmart that I found this week.
Ooh, all right, let me pull that up.
A hidden
I have 3
Walmart.
screens, and so I can't present because it scrambles the system. It's like, which one do you want me to grab from? No, okay. So this is a collection that I'm working on acquiring right now. So did the other picture not show up?
Let's see. Yep, there it
That
is.
one.
Well, that's the cleanest Transformer aisle I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've never seen that many bots in one store before.
Actually, let me redo
All
the
on sale.
screen. There we go.
Yeah, what's amazing is you guys have so many good sales in the States.
Yeah.
About the TF movie, do you feel that like there was more hype around the Transformers at the time, and like the mainstream interest in Transformers increased the amount of toys available, and also thereby increased your interest in Transformers?
Are you talking about the original Transformers movie?
Sorry, I meant the Bayverse movies. Yeah,
Oh.
because there was like hype about Transformers at the time, even though the movies weren't the greatest.
I think honestly, and James may be able to relate to this a little bit better because he was in that age bracket. But for me, when Transformers was on TV, just like G.I. Joe or He-Man or whatever, you had a tie to the toy because it was what you saw after school every day. And then you would, you know, it was just like, okay, this new character was introduced on the TV show. I want the toy, or whatever. It was kind of your daily routine. You had lunch boxes, you had, you know, book bags, because you were seeing it all the time. I think, you know, with the Bayverse movies, it was maybe not as much media on Transformers. There may have been a show or something, and maybe I just didn't watch it, so I didn't know. But then it was just like, okay, here's this action movie, and it's just like, oh, okay, what is this going to be about? Like, you didn't know what it was going to be about. And then when the second one came out, you really didn't know what it was going to be about. It's just another add-on to the movie. Whereas when I was a kid watching Transformers, and then the 86 movie was coming out, you kind of knew everything that was leading up to it. You were familiar with all the characters, and then when they started dying, you were like, wait a minute, I didn't, what, this is like killing my child. You know, the superstars are not here anymore. And then they introduced new characters, but at the same time, after the movie, those new characters became your after school entertainment, and so you just kept on having a connection with them. With the Bayverse movies, it's like, oh, there's Jazz. Oh, Jazz just died. You didn't have a character buildup of them. Oh, there's Sideswipe. Okay, he just died. You know, whatever. It's just like they're in the movie, but it's not the character that you're familiar with, or the look of the character you're familiar with, and they just killed him. So it's just like, oh, he's not important, obviously. You know, and so that's, I think, the big difference for me in the Bayverse movies. When they started associating it with the toys, it was, I don't know who this character is. Were they even in the movie? You know, did they just make somebody? This character was in the movie for 2 seconds, you know, and they have 18 figures of it. I don't have a connection, so I'm not going to spend my money doing that because I don't know who this character is.
Well, thanks to Rise of the Beast, all the Transformers that are dead should be alive.
Yeah, no, my experience with it, the marketing was everywhere. Like you said, there were lunch boxes, there were T-shirts. I just don't think, obviously, you were looking for that stuff. I wasn't either, but you still saw it everywhere. But as far as the hype itself, I'm a weird person where I only wanted Beast Wars back then. That's all I wanted. I didn't care about Optimus. To me, Optimus was a monkey or a gorilla. He was not a truck. And it took me years to get over that. But I don't know. I think that it was more hype because I had people that didn't like Transformers actually talk to me about Transformers.
So you just said that it took you years to get over the fact that Optimus was a truck. When I first watched my first episode of Beast Wars and I found out that Optimus Primal, even though he's not supposed to be Optimus Prime, that's my first impression was, this is Optimus Prime? How freaking cheesy is this ape thing? Okay, that's my first impression of Optimus Primal. And you know what? I didn't watch another episode until this year.
Well, and that's like me. When I saw him as a truck, I'm like, that's so stupid. He's a truck. Everybody's a truck. Everybody's a van. Everybody's a truck. Give me something unique. So I feel you there.
Yeah, it took a lot, man. It took a lot for me to sit down and watch Beast Wars and Beast Machines, and I still don't get it. I probably never will get it because I don't know. I'm just not of that 90s time, because even in that time period of my life, I wasn't watching TV. I wasn't watching television shows. I was so outdoors and doing stuff. I didn't even have Transformers.
That's a shame.
On my mind. Yeah. But, I am giving it a chance. At least I'm giving it a chance. A lot of diehard Transformer fans that are my age would never give it a chance.
I remember, and then... Go ahead. Oh, I was going to say in the 90s, yeah, I was definitely watching TV at the time. And I'm born in the mid 80s, and I used to collect Transformers when it was G2 and catch the few episodes they had there in the early 90s. So when Beast Wars came out, it was like, oh, cool, something new Transformers. And when the first episode aired, and it wasn't what I was expecting it to be, I'm like, what the heck is going on? But it was really, really good. Like I think it took just maybe one or two episodes, and I'm like, wow, I'm really invested in this. And,
wow, it took me like the whole first season to even say, okay, I guess I'll watch the second.
Well, it was really cool because Reboot was on at the time, and Reboot was a very Canadian show. Yep. And I was really digging that. And I knew Mainframe Entertainment did Reboot. They did Beast Wars through Alliance, I think, was a Canadian production company. Anyway, so yeah, it was a lot of Canadian stuff going on there. So not only was it Transformers, it was also a lot of Canadian stuff happening. So I was really digging it.
Yeah, well, you'll like this. I heard a rumor actually today that they're doing a live-action reboot.
Ooh.
Oh, I think there's already been one. It didn't.
No,
it wasn't that popular.
Yeah, it's going to be a TV show for Prime, though. Speaking of Prime, is it Prime that has that new Transformers cartoon where Megatron's a good guy?
No, that's Earthrise.
Earthspark. Okay, I've gone through one episode. I don't know if I can do more. After seeing Megatron being a good guy, I was like, no.
It gets worse. It gets worse. Give it time.
Don't tell me. Then I'll never watch
it's like rubbing fresh salt in a nice paper cut.
It's so funny. I watched it. Takara, I'm subscribed to Takara Tomy on YouTube, so I watched it in Japanese, and it was actually quite entertaining. I didn't know what was going on, but it was cool. Looked cool.
Yeah, the Prime series is actually really good. Like for myself, growing up with G1's always my number one. But of all the series that came out over the decades, I put Prime as the number two. Just it's in terms of the storyline and how they built the entire series. So Jonathan Walker has a question. Had a statement, which I'll kind of turn into a state question. He says, we do have good sales, but not every Walmart/Target has the same bots, and every state is different, which I will go over to you guys. because I've seen that in many conversations and everything, and even the Cosmos exclusive is an example of that, where, you know, depending which side of the country you're on, they'll ship certain bots out there, but then people on the other end of the country, they don't get any of those bots, so then it just creates this false demand for certain characters, where it's like we're not seeing them. And even between Canada and the States, like there's a couple bots that I've seen in my Walmarts that I've sent to people in the States because they're like, it never hits their shelves.
No.
Have you guys experienced that?
I've been surprised by how much I keep on seeing the yellow Grimlock, that G2 one. I seen it at my main Walmart every time, so I don't know if it's just not selling or they're keeping it that well in stock. Maybe both.
Well, I know it's not hitting Canada, because if it did, it would be at GameStop, and it's not at GameStop. They said that it's never coming.
I haven't seen it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
If it's
know
gonna
all
be anywhere, it's
the
gonna be GameStop.
G2 dead ends always short box. I think the only ones I always see are the Watermelon Mirage, the Dorito Jazz, and the unfortunate yellow paint location Motorcycle Jazz.
Yeah, where I am, I have not seen one Toxitron collection in any of the Walmarts around here.
Wow.
Only when I traveled down south is when I saw my first ones. So luckily, Bobby was able to pick me up some, but I have not seen one, and I've been constantly checking.
Sideswipe is the hard one to find. Sideswipe and Dead End.
Yep.
But one of them is in here.
I have them all.
I got a couple that at the Walmart near my place.
I saw Doritotron there, and Dorito Jazz, and the paint was really badly chipped because it was the open box, right? I guess some kid was playing with it, fiddling with it, and like it's paint chipped all over. That's brutal. Last one though.
I get lucky sometimes, and literally I'll go in and there'll be one of whatever figure. It's one, and I'm just like, yep, I came here for milk, but I got this. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, that was me with him today. He was the only one left, and like, I'm getting him.
Yep, I've gone back, and because so the good thing about being on different coasts is whenever I'll message James and say, do you need this or whatever, and he does the same, and we'll just collect and then ship them to each other or whatever. And so yeah, we have a ton of those on the shelves. And
wow.
The Trooper pack.
Yeah. And so I actually took a picture and asked James if he wanted it, and he said no. So I mean, it stayed on the shelf. But I've been looking because I feel kind of bad when he's like, oh, I want that, or I really want that, and I'm like, okay, cool. I just grabbed it. Let me see if they have another one, and it's just like, yeah, that's it. And it's like, like I've had them since they first released and cannot find them at all.
Mm-hmm.
What's that one?
The Origin Bumblebee.
Yeah.
For $7 at Ross.
See, and that how much that makes me mad, because when it came out, my first thing was, finally, I'm gonna get the Cybertronian modes.
Oh, Slicer.
And I had to buy it off the eBay.
Catch your choice, for $15.
For $60 American, I had to pay for, plus $24 for shipping. I was like, damn. And then when I heard, oh, guess what? The Jazz is only going to be at Target too. I was like, shit, I'm going to have to pay $80 for that too.
Shadow Strip.
And what I do, I pay $80 for it. And then 3 months later, it's at what's called Toys R Us for $24. I'm like, what?
So about buying toys, TFCon coming up, what do you guys think about the G2 exclusives that they're offering there?
Well,
which ones are they offering? I haven't seen any updates.
They're doing Slipstream from Animated. Slipswarm, which still makes me laugh. And then they're doing Talon from the Predators. And
Marksman is
Marksman, Talon's the official name. Right. And we actually, our friends with Get Right Robot, who did the design of Marksman. So we were able to sit down with him and talk about it, and that was really cool. So I'm always down for the weird repaints. So both of those are bought. So I wish I could get multiple, but I can't. So I'm ecstatic about it, and hopefully we'll get one more from Ocular Max.
See, that's what I was just talking to Deceptikitty about. I was like, man, they better come out with a tape, because even though I didn't go to those cons, I still have every single exclusive that they ever made. I almost missed out on one of them, but I was fortunate enough that a toy company contacted me and said, we got one of these. And I'm like, it's mine. Send it now.
Yeah. I think, I mean, over the years, we've kind of become friends with some of the Chosen Prime, we're all on a first name basis, from the very first con. And then it's more so like, I just tell people to put stuff in my box. And so, everybody on his team, they take care of us. And, it's just it's become more of, instead of just a shopping experience, it's more like we're friends, and we're seeing friends again. And so that's why I really enjoy the TFCon so much. It's great to get Transformers, and I probably spend way too much. No, babe, if you're watching, I don't spend a lot.
Deals on everything. Trust me, I'm there.
Yeah, it was like buy one, get 18 free.
That's right.
That's how we do it. Yeah.
So it's something that is fun, and it's exciting. It's great to see like-minded people, because everyone is different, and everybody's journey there is different. So when we all can get together at a con, it's great.
When you say that right there, every journey is different, but you know what? The goal is always the same. Transformers, whether you like one faction or all of them, we all love Transformers. So
let's catch up on the comments. Jonathan Walker on YouTube says, do you all think the Netflix show did more for collectors than the Bay movies and made new fans? I think so. Thoughts?
I do.
Yes.
I think definitely the toy lines themselves, just because Siege kind of had that jump in quality over like Prime Wars. I don't know about the show much.
Yeah, the show was absolutely unfortunate, but the toys were great.
Yeah, the toys were awesome. I even started buying the KO oversized ones already. So, I enjoy those toys. They remind me of back when you first got Transformers. A couple simple steps to transform it, but it actually transforms to something that you wouldn't recognize, right? Like something different.
What I didn't like about Siege when it first came out is it had all these gnarly paint apps. I'm like, how do I get this battle damage off? Like, I just want the clean figure. And like, of course, their intention was the next line, they're going to sell you the cleaner figures, right? So they had their game plan. Yeah, like it was a little much. It was impressive though, how they like got them all consistent between them.
And I was saying to you today that I prefer the Siege Jetfire over the Masterpiece.
Cool. Is it RJ? RJ Eagle says,
"Hey RJ."
Yeah, says welcome fellow Nebulons. RJ in the house. What up, gang? And for everyone watching, please like our video. And Duke Nukem, I can't watch any more Earth Spark. Which Jonathan says, Earth Spark, Prime is the lame dad, Megs is the cool uncle.
I saw my niece today, so.
So the ad hoc character redemptions, like Earth Spark Megatron, don't feel right, especially because you don't really see how it came about, and they don't do the work to show it.
That's how it goes in a kid's show.
Yeah. They leave you to wonder. That's what your imagination's for.
Yeah.
That's when you take your toys, right? And this is just for me. I don't know if anybody else does it, but after you watch the show, you take your brother's G.I. Joes or his He-Man and you blow them up with firecrackers and pretend your Transformers did it.
Yeah. I like how Transformers was a very cerebral experience in that, like it was a puzzle. So like as I'm transforming it, I'm kind of imagining a storyline that's happening. Like I'm exploring in my head, but really I'm just like Rubik's cubing there with it over and over again. Yeah.
So RJ Eagle says, just catching up on the discussion. Hope we're also talking about a great first issue to Skybound's Transformers 1 comic and Void Rivals. Off to a great start, very G1-esque. Now, for Bot and Con, are you guys into the comics and into the newer comics that came out?
I used to read the Dreamwave comics, and then some of the early IDW, like I think it was Megatron's Origin, and then there was like Megatron, All Hail Megatron, and then after that I stopped. So I have not picked it up. I want to. The new Skybound, I think it is, comics do look interesting. I just haven't picked it up yet.
And I never was a comic guy, but I said because of the channel, because of what we're doing, that I'm going to get the new comics. I'm gonna try to read them and see, what the comic life is all about. I never was a comic book collector in anything. So.
Yeah, see, my brother's not into Transformers whatsoever, but he just told me he picked up 20 blank covers to do custom covers for anybody that is looking for a custom cover
of this Transformers.
Yep.
Right.
He's got 20 blanks that he can do custom covers on. So you're going to pay a pretty penny, but you're going to get something very unique.
So Shiva Kobe says any redemption arc from Megatron would be as difficult as heck to get right / remotely believable. And also says, I started seeing Studio Series 86 Ironhide at Toys R Us now, which is weird because Walmart had them months ago.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is I just seen Grimlock, Buzzworthy Bumblebee Grimlock at the Toys R Us, and I'm like, what? I never even heard that this character was out. I never even knew that he was even existing. But there he is, and of course he's not G1, he's Michael Bay. And what they did, in my opinion, is they took the oversized Grimlock that they already got. I don't know if it's Black Mamba or whatever, but they just took that and scaled it down. That's what it looks like, exactly like that. It doesn't look like the Grimlock that they gave us from the Bay movies earlier on. Not even anything close.
Yeah, it's a reissue of one of the first studio series and there's is what it is. It's just a repack of it.
Yeah.
New packaging.
Yeah.
And you're probably thinking of the main line that was black and copper. That's probably what you're thinking of toy-wise.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got that Studio Series Grimlock like 6 years ago just because I thought it looked kind of interesting. And I was quite shocked that they're reissuing it. So, yeah, it's not... The Black Mamba is based off the original Studio Series one that came out in like
maybe it's not Black
2017
Mamba,
or whatever.
it's something else. It's something else. I seen Emgo do a review on it. I just never got it because I already had the Black Mamba one. It's a little bit smaller than the Black Mamba one, though. Maybe it could be Toy World or something. I don't know. I just know it's a different style of Grimlock. That's what it looks like to me.
So RG Eagle says, yeah, I never saw Crasher or Cosmos on the shelves ever. However, weirdly enough, I ran into Netflix's cassette Soundwave 3 times on the shelf at the time, and he was the tough ones to find. And Charlie C says, Smithsville, Tennessee Walmart has a nice supply of Transformers. And RG Eagle's asking, has anyone found a buzzworthy Optimus on the shelf?
No.
So when that was going around, the buzzworthy one, I'm assuming Rise of the Beasts, buzzworthy Bumblebee Optimus. Yeah. I found that one. I continually, month ago, I kept seeing it in the shelves at my local Target, and I didn't want it, so I passed on it. But I was quite shocked that I kept seeing it over and over and over again, and it was all new stock. So
anybody in Canada find it? Because I haven't.
No.
Nope.
Like, I do a toy hunt once a week, and I have not seen it. And I ask everybody, especially at the GameStops, because there's only a couple people working there. They know what's on their shelves. I asked them, did it come in? Nope, 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 nope. I don't even think Canada's going to get it.
Just to respond about the comic before I forget is, since I read them as well as the Void Rivals, it looks really interesting. It's off to a great start as well. I think you also read it as well, Box Art.
Yeah, I've read it. Like I had said to multiple people, both online and in person, that if you like Starscream, especially G1 and Prime, and you always felt like he was kind of held back because, you know, it's a children's cartoon, so they can only let him be his asshat self as much as they can be. There's a limit, and you really get to see Starscream be as bad as you know he could be. And then, and this is more of a line continuity thing, which it would include Prime, how there is sort of alluded to how Ratchet and Prime are old war buddies. And you really get a sense of their experience just without having to talk, just how well they can fight together from that first issue. So if you like those versions of those three characters, it's definitely worth it for that alone. And I know, who was it? I think it was the Con that was saying he was sick of Bumblebee.
Yes.
If you don't like Bumblebee, you'll like that first issue. They got a mandate to not have Bumblebee, and they like, okay, no uncertain terms. Okay, Starscream, the first thing he does, boom.
Really?
Thank you.
Okay, well,
Yep.
Yeah, that
No
all sounds very
Bumblebee.
interesting
Thanks,
to me.
Starscream.
So.
Thank you.
Damn him!
You know what? From now on, it's all hail Starscream. He killed Bumblebee.
Damn
They have a
it!
very interesting side comic. They're the Void Rivals. Like they have these aliens. They're not human, but humanoid characters, and it would be very interesting to see how they tie it into the Transformers comics as well.
Well, like if you look back into the first issue and you read how they discuss, like some of the words they use, almost sound like they're trying to they're paraphrasing like the ideologies of Decepticons and Autobots respectively. And they might be setting up, like I know they set up with the Quints, how they very well established that they and the Transformers don't get along in this universe because the pig guy from season 3 tries to sell up to Shockwave, and it's like literally you turn a page and there's like Shockwave like all big, and he's like basically says, why the hell would I buy this guy, pay for this guy, even to torture him? I don't like him. I don't want anything to do with him. Leave my planet before I scrap your ship and you can't get home to your wife and kids. Is basically what Shockwave says to this guy.
Skuxoid.
Yep.
Skuxoid is it? Yeah, I was happy to see him back.
So Shiva Kobe says, I'm so thankful that Mr. Magnus came through for me. I guess PayPal is taking a full 5 business days instead of 3. I can square it up. And Jay Barnett on YouTube says, are you guys gamers? If so, do you hope that Hasbro lets Microsoft release the War for Cybertron and Fall for Cybertron games? I hope so. I didn't get to play them. As a returning fan, I want to.
Those are great
You're
games.
very good.
Yeah, I got to meet, I think it was at BotCon where I got to meet the guys who were working on the game. It was the director and a couple of the programmers there. And yeah, I got a signed copy of the game. It was a really strange experience, but yeah, it was cool. And yeah, I hope they do release the game. There was some funny business about not having the files, and they actually do have the files, and yeah, we're definitely games worth replaying.
They also made High Moon also made a game for Dark of the Moon, and that was very good as well. So same developers as the 2 games we were just talking about.
I think they're having problems because most of the Transformer games have been for the PlayStation and not for Microsoft, right? So like that's probably the issue that they're having to get it released. If you look at the history of Transformer games, it's mainly on PlayStation. Like it's like you got Devastation, I think it's called, for Xbox, but that's also for PS. 4 and 3, I think. And you know, I think that's probably the problem is the licensing and who owns it right now and why and all that kind of stuff. But I would like to see a nice Transformer game, kind of like there's a game I used to play called Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. I don't know if anybody's ever played it or seen it. It's kind of like a Command and Conquer type game.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I played that game. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, and like I would like to see a Transformers game kind of like that, more than me running around shooting first person type of thing. Like, because I think of Transformers as like a strategic thing where, okay, I want Optimus Prime to move over here, but I want him to be in a truck mode and attack in the truck mode, right? And not just have that option of I'm just hacking and slashing everything in sight, you know?
Freakenstein, had you ever heard of Transformers Earth Wars? That's sort of a RTS, I believe.
It is, but like playing that stuff on your phone sucks, man. I can't see nothing. You know, like it's gotta be
yeah, especially for an RTS, I'll agree.
Man. You know, like
Forced to Fight isn't too bad, but that's like, you know, one-on-one fighting, so that's two big sprites. But yeah, RTS, I agree, that's a little.
It's too small. It's too small. Like that, it's a good concept, but like it's way too small, and there's not enough. Like I said, I'm looking for like the options, kind of like Final Fantasy 7 and 8 type of thing, where it's not quite like Tactics yet, but like I can choose what I want to do, right? Whether roll up on bot mode, or run up on bot mode, or roll up on vehicle mode, attack in vehicle mode, or to attack in bot mode, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
There was like a few years ago, I think it was a Cyberverse tie-in game that was a turn-based strategy game. I would have to look it up. But supposedly that was a serviceable game. You know, I mean, for a licensed game, it wasn't bad.
So I
feel
got
like there's something else, but I can't remember.
some questions and stuff like that for bot versus con. Since guests on the show.
Well, hold the question for one moment. Bot versus con, are you guys gamers, and have you played any of the Transformers games?
So I played the first one, and I have the second one, but I didn't play it. But
same.
I think since we're talking about like theoretical games, one thing that Bobby and me agree on is that we love fighting games. That's probably our main source of video gaming. I mean, he plays some sports games, I play horror games, but mostly it's fighting games, and that's what I would want to see with Transformers. They could really get into some depth with some weird characters and have the main ones, and I want it to be a little bit more complicated than Forced to Fight. So I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yes. Did you ever play I think it was on N64 and PS1, that fighting Transmetal Beast Wars game?
Yes, I did. I still have it. I do. It's right over there next to my N64. But I would love a Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or Tekken type of Transformer game. That would be so cool. But again, I know that probably won't make as much money as a shooting game.
Yeah. And for me, I would love to see more of a Marvel versus Capcom type game with the Transformers. You get the animated side of it. You can have multiple characters in there, and it's a fighting game that, you know, have a couple of different move sets of whatever. But I think those games were really good. I love those types of games. I never played any of the Transformer games though, and I don't know if it was because there was just a disconnect, or maybe I didn't know about them, or usually the either whether it was a cartoon to video game adaptation or movie to video game adaptation, they were typically never good. And so I never wanted to invest my money and find out the hard way that it wasn't good, or it was something that I thought it was, you know, I already knew it wasn't going to be good, and I just wasted my money doing it anyway.
Well,
I just remembered there was a I just remembered that on Game Boy Color there was a Japanese Beast Wars fighting game on that system. Just came to mind. I never played it, but I'd seen gameplay footage of it on YouTube, I think.
Cool. I was going to say, going with the Marvel versus Capcom theme, automatically I could see the characters that people would automatically want to see Prime, Optimus versus Megatron, Soundwave versus Blaster, two of the combiners, and then actually putting in their actual features on weapons in those fights. That would actually be a very good game.
You just gave me an idea. Like, I could see a combo for Soundwave or Blaster. They're fighting, and then they do something, and then all of a sudden their chest opens up, and the robot,
Nice.
the robots come out, and then they do like a couple of attacks, and then jump back in his chest, and then the game continues, like a super or something like that. That would be dope.
That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Or have one of the two fight only with their cassettes.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay,
or
well,
a punch that would come out and go back in, and then they'd have squawk bots come out and attack them, and that it would have to be fast animations, but I think that would be pretty cool too.
Oh, yeah.
I think it'd be cooler if it was like this, if they both ejected their tapes go out and start fighting, but now it enters a different mode, and you got to do a dance off with freaking Soundwave and Blaster while their bots are fighting. The best one doing the dance off wins the fight.
Jazz in the background, breakdancing.
Yeah.
That is a possible combination. You had a character in Darkstalkers that one of her special moves or finishers, I want to say it was Lilith, where you did a move, and then if you did all the dance inputs, kind of DDR style, you did more damage.
Yeah. Well, see that you guys are talking about fighting games. I was never into things like Mortal Kombat or any of this stuff. Like, people try to get me into Injustice and all that kind of stuff like that. But the only actual game that I played that was fighting was the original Marvel versus Capcom, because I worked at a pool hall and they had the game there. And the best thing about that game, I thought, was this: slapping them buttons, getting your partner to come in and do double the damage special moves. Now that's just awesome. Awesome. That would be good for a Transformer game. You get the closest person, or you can choose whoever, whatever, that you're fighting with, to come and do a special attack together. Like, that'd be awesome. Could you imagine Optimus Prime and Jetfire, instead of them having a normal attack move, they form like the Jetfire Optimus Prime and just blow shit up?
Yeah, I think that would be. I mean, if they decide to do it, I mean, I'd buy that game in a heartbeat. Even if it sucked, I would probably still buy it just to experience what that's like. But yeah,
I guess I'm gonna have to start using this online game and shit to play you guys.
There's this interesting online fighting game. I forget what it's called, but like there's all a mashup of characters from all kinds of universes. So I wonder if maybe there's
Mugen.
What is it called?
I think it's Mugen.
Mugen, yes.
Mugen.
That's what it is. I saw that on
The
Twitch.
Mortal Kombat hack. Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah, I'd expect to see it there first.
No,
So I got a question.
go ahead, Freakenstein.
So I'm the one that's been probably watching your channel the longest and the most. I remember the first time I watched you, I think you guys had like 53 subscribers. But so the dynamic that I get from your channel and what I think your channel is about might not be what you guys think your channel is about. So I just want to ask you if you feel the same way. So when I watch your channel, it's very informative about all the stuff that's coming out, which I appreciate, because then I don't have to look myself. Thanks, guys. But like, I find it to be like a back and forth between you two that is just pretty good dynamics about what you guys like and what you don't like. So I would call your channel like a Transformers news channel. So how do you guys feel about people thinking that way about your channel?
James.
I mean, I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, when we started, we had multiple ideas, and the news is what took off. And I like personally doing the news because I get to see everything that comes out, and we're able to, we started this off as a debate channel. That's what we wanted it to be, where we go back and forth. And I think the news is a very organic way for us to do that. Now, we find ourselves agreeing with each other more often than not because, Hasbro, we have the same viewpoints on that. But at the same time, we're able to go back and forth. So I think as a news channel, that's perfectly great. That's what I like to be. I want to inform people. I want to give people my opinions and why they should buy that Trans Art Ravage.
Was that a plug for everybody to buy Ravage like right now?
Read between the lines.
Fair plug.
Instant plug, and then the reaction from bot, like instantly. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah. So this is. So I agree with the first part of what James said, and then he just like I don't know what he fell on that slippery slope. But yeah, I watch sports debate. So when James and I met, and it's funny because we'll look at the comments and people think that we've known each other for years and stuff. We've known each other for 2 years, and we really started the channel. Actually, we met last year. We met March of last year, and so. We started the YouTube channel at the end of last year. So, I mean, you're talking about, 6 months into knowing each other, and we're in business together, I guess. And so clearly we have different ideas on Transformers as a whole. And I think that's the interesting dynamic that we were not seeing out in the world of Transformers. You'll see somebody have a channel, they talk about their opinion, and it's their opinion, and that's it. They'll talk about, or you'll see somebody who loves this brand and they bash everything else, and they don't have any, it's not fair for them to talk about anything else, because if it's not this, then it's nothing else. And I think for us, we kind of have the ability to say, you know what, I don't like that figure, but I respect that you do, or I love that figure, and he can respect that. That he doesn't. Or it may be occasions where we're like, you know what, I don't like it, I hate it too, I don't like it, or it's like, hey, we both really like this. And then James teaches me things about stuff that I didn't collect. I wasn't into Beast Wars. When Pretenders came out in G1, that's what kicked me out of Transformers. I was like, this is the stupidest thing in the world. How are you going to have Transformers that don't transform? So that did it for me. And so then talking to James, and he's just like, oh, you got to see this and this and this, and I'm like, that's stupid, but I can appreciate his enthusiasm about it. And he's, more times than not, he's like, this is a really cool figure, I think you should check it out, and I've picked it up. And so the news aspect is one part of it. And we're actually branching out more now. We wanted to, I think when we came out the gates, we had all these ideas, and it was just like, yeah, let's do this. Bam, it's going to be amazing. But it was amazing to us. And so it was like 20 views, 5 views or something like that. It's like, okay, let's not do that. But I think now that we have more subscribers, more input with fans, and they kind of like us a tad bit, I guess. We're looking at trying some new ideas, maybe some of the throwback ideas, and doing different things with the channel to engage more with it, because it's basically entertainment. That's what it is. All this is the love of Transformers. It's entertaining, and again, you're looking at two people who are completely different, in our walks of life, but Transformers brings us together, where people think we're the best of friends. And this is I talk to James damn near every day, but multiple times throughout the day. So it's amazing that this has happened for us.
And that's very cool, because that's almost the same essence of how we got our channel together, and just meeting all the different people. Like one of our members, he said the one cool element that we have that possibly none of the other channels has is any character that we mention, someone within the crew has that character, which is something that I don't think any other channel has that. And the one thing you did point out is, and I mean, it's not a diss or a knock to any of those other channels, but there's only so much that you can take in of like, well, here's one person reviewing this character, and it's their point of view, and that's it. And I'm like, well, that's cool to a certain extent, but then it's cool where it's like, well, here's multiple point of views of this character. Half of us like it, half of us can't stand it, and or it's like, we just get a different perspective of that same character. I was gonna, before I jump back into the comments, and it's funny that Freakenstein kind of led the question this way. Is there any episodes or characters or concept within Transformers that like you guys have been like completely, like like you, in a sense, like you both completely disagree on, or sorry, not both completely disagree, like one agrees and one disagrees, and like no matter what, like there's no, there's nothing that will like change that opinion.
That ravage he just talked about. Ugh.
If I could high five, yeah.
Yeah, no, but in all honesty, I don't think there really is. We always are able to come to a middle ground. He understands I like that Ravage because it's a childhood toy, but then he's over here buying G1, Fans Toys Power Glide, and I'm like, I don't know how you could like that thing. But I appreciate that it means something to you. So that's like, I don't think we ever come to a place where there's no connect, where we're completely at a wall. Except maybe he hates the movie toys and I think they're okay. But again, I see where he's coming from. So it's kind of like, I think we're too human to understand where everybody's coming from besides putting up those walls.
Nice.
So I got a question. Over the years, we've had instructions for Transformers over the years. They are pretty much, in my opinion, all the same. Do you think that these toy companies should focus more on better instructions? Because in my opinion, you have the resources and technology to get these instructions a lot better. And I remember back in the 80s, there was actual text telling you what to do. And I have not seen that for years. For years. So what do you guys think? Should they, do you think they should make these instructions a lot better? Or do you think they should just keep on doing what they're doing with shit that confuses the hell out of you?
Well, going with third party, especially in the MP scale, as I mentioned, I have that silver boat as well, Frankenstein, and there's no, they give you a QR code, and I scanned it, it didn't work. And so now I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? So now I got to hopefully find a video online where somebody did it and try to follow along with it or whatever. And, I think two things. In the 80s and the Transformers G1 in particular, they were pretty intuitive. I mean, unfortunately, there wasn't, a lot of articulation, if any. You pull the arms out, you lift them up this way, you pop a gun in, you pull the legs down, voila. That was it. And so even though they had instructions, it was, you could almost figure it out. But the ones they have now, I need something, and I think that's a big problem of why we start seeing a lot of toys breaking. I've seen other YouTubers talk about it. It's like, hey, this didn't come with instructions, but I kind of figured it out, and I'm like, how the hell did you do that? I'm still trying to take it out the package without it breaking. So I think the instructions would definitely help. Now they don't have to be paper. It would be cool if, give me a QR code, but give me something to help me go along the lines, and then pay more attention to the steps that are actually happening, because a lot of times, as well as with the third party, they're not in English. So you're trying, I have my phone, I have Google Translate on, and I'm trying to, hold it over and look at how to do this. And it says buckle here. And I'm like, what does that mean? Oh, you mean, lock it in here. So it's a lot of different things that go with the instructions. It's not just a matter of them having instructions. It does need to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
Wait until you transform that guy. You're gonna hate him.
Oh, I've already have.
Do you have King? Do you have King Toys? Freakenstein. Do you have King Toys Razor Claw?
Yes.
Is he the same complexity as that?
Yes.
Okay.
Worse.
There you go, Bobby.
So much worse, man.
I don't think so. I actually think it was a lot easier than Razor Claw. I think it.
Did you turn him into torso mode though?
I played around with it, and I had to go to sleep. I was just tired. But,
yeah, exactly.
But I was just like, it's not as bad. I think the problem with this figure in particular, or like I have the gold Kang toy set as well, and so if I would have got the the gold one first, or with the silver bolt, because it's a very monochrome color. When they talk about stuff, or when, you know, if you're looking at something, it all looks the same, so you can't really identify where, you know, what piece they're actually moving or whatever, because it all looks the same, you know. So the details need, you know, definitely need to be highlighted more when you're looking at figures like that.
Well,
See,
the
and even with the
Deceptikitty.
Go ahead.
Well, actually, hold on one second, Freakenstein. Deceptikitty threw in a couple images. So on the screen, I have the G1, the Optimus Prime instructions, and then there's also, then he's also shared with me. There you go, the masterpiece instructions for Optimus. And I mean, when you look at the two, it's like, you know, between 6 to 8 steps, and then there's this.
Yeah.
And it's hard to see, like those little red pieces barely stand out.
And see, I have a problem with them using the red to highlight pieces that you're supposed to transform, because all it's doing is highlighting the piece. It doesn't actually show you in the next step where it went and how it went, right? Like on some of these toys, you have to twist it around, fold it backwards, and snap it in place, right? But then they just highlight it, and this is the piece you have to move. And then it's like, where? How? You know? So the highlighting thing isn't for me. It's not for me. I'd rather it be an instruction showing you what piece that you're going to move, and then the next picture is how it moved and why it's there, right? And then move on from there, like a two-part. That's the kind of instructions that I want. I want to actually see, okay, this is the piece you're moving, and then this is how it's supposed to look when you're done, and then go on to the next step and the next step. That would be so much easier for every single toy, that you can actually see what they're going to move, and then now that's how it looks when it moves. Because like even for like these new age Grimlocks and Sludge, I gotta take the, actually I'll just grab Sludge, it's a lot easier. So when you're transforming this leg, basically what happens is that you have to bend, mine's still really tight, but you have to bend the tail piece all the way, right? And straighten that back up. And then you have to bend this leg piece as well to turn it all the way around. Now, this is something simple that I should have figured out right away. But I'll tell you right now, when I first took it out of the package and tried doing it, I was like, how the hell am I supposed to do that? These instructions do not tell you how to do this. What is going on? This should turn. Why isn't it turning? And the problem is that you have to have these locked in a certain way to even get it to turn. Without having it locked in that one position, you are not getting it to turn. And both pieces have to be unlocked to do it. And I was like so frustrated, and I was so like, I'm giving up, I'm going to bed. And then I realized, oh, it moves more. Like the instructions don't tell you.
See, I'm the kind of guy that throws out the instructions. I kind of enjoy the frustration of trying to figure it out the first time. That's a lot of the fun of it.
Oh, you can't do that with the Chang toys, man. You cannot do that with the Chang toys.
Some of them I need help. Yeah, that's very true. Some of them I need help.
Any one of them Chang toys, no.
I feel like with auto spell check and like Google Maps, like I've lost my navigation spelling skills. Like I feel like if I go back to the instructions all the time, I'm going to lose my transforming skills.
I'm going to go back to some of the previous comments, but RJ Eagle says, good point at TFBot. I'm now always resorting to YouTube for instructions for the panel. What's the most annoying Transformers on... Oh, sorry. For the panel, what's the most annoying Transformers? All lines, third party, etc. The worst figure to transform, the most annoying.
I can't figure out, say one line, but what annoys me with Transformers is not the complexity. It's when it has clearance issues. That's when I get frustrated and I don't like it. And I just don't honestly have a good time. And that's over, I think, all lines. There's some figure here or there. I like the complexity. I like to transform it. But if I'm like barely scraping by, one that comes to mind is the Magic Square Masterpiece. I have Ultra Magnus, but it's the Optimus. There are some pieces that you have to fold the plastic out to put it in, and I don't like that stuff. So that would be my answer.
How's Lab Unicron?
See, I love my Unicron.
By far, when I got it, a friend of mine who also had one told me straight up, he said, Bill, you need to go and look at this video on YouTube first, because there's a step that starts it that is not in the instructions, and if you don't do that step, you'll break it. Because you have to put, he's sitting on a great big stand.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's very top heavy. And when he comes in the box, he's in the planet mode, and you have to insert that stand, and you look at it and it's like, oh, well, it just goes up in here. It doesn't just go up in there. You have to break the shell apart, open him up, and then snap that thing in there, and then snap the shell back down into it. If you try and open that door and stick that thing up in there, it'll break the door off of it, which is what he did to his.
Wow.
All right, so
there's a step in there that's not in the instructions. You got to crack the shell open and fold the door in, because it won't fold down far enough to get the stand up in it.
So I got my worst right here. This is the worst Transformer that's ever been made. This is the Toy World Knight Orion, and as you can see, he's missing an arm, right? All I did was take him out of the package, and I tried to turn his arm upwards so I can actually put the shield on his arm, because there's 2 slots right there to put the shield, and it broke in 2 pieces. Then when I went to pick him up and turn him over, the pin fell out, and I've not ever found the pin. Now, I've been waiting for this character for a very long time for someone to make this character, and I paid $360 for him to be shipped and the price, and then I got done with $120 at the border for this guy. So it came close to $500 Canadian for me. And when I took him out of the box and did that, and I contacted this company that I bought him for, I sent them pictures over and over and over and over and over and over and over again as what pieces have broke, and they should either refund my money or send me the replacement pieces. I annoyed them so much they blocked me from their email. But I was pissed. So now this guy is going to become part of my project. I'm making a Junkion world with all my broken Transformers. And this is going to be a nice $500 piece that's going to go onto that table and get glued there. But worst Transformer ever. Like, even the feel of this plastic, it feels like it'll break in like 10 years. It'll just crumble. It's just garbage. But thank God that a third-party company came out with another one. It's I think it's Toy World. This is, but a third-party company came out with a new one. It's a little bit bulkier, and I bought that one for like, I think it was $60, and it's better, by far better. But this is definitely my worst ever Transformer that I've ever bought, and I don't recommend this to anybody. Even in the reviews I watched after buying this, just to see how other people thought of it, there was pieces that they were bending and it was breaking and it was creating stress fractures everywhere. And it's like, why would anybody build such a toy like this? Like, it's just absolute garbage. I never would recommend this to anyone.
Well, this is not financial advice.
I can't necessarily say one that is the worst. I have the worst luck with QC issues. So I buy a lot of figures, and I would say probably 1 out of every 3 has some type of QC issue. And it's bad because, as you mentioned, you pay so much money for these figures. Like my and I'm not picking on this company at all, but because I know people do. But my ex Transbots Ultra Magnus, you know, they had to send me 2 different replacement parts. For this one, the wheel was pinned on backwards, so the wheel could never actually fit.
Ah,
So you can actually see like the how it's tall here and short here, and it's tall down here, short here. So they weren't facing the same way. So they sent me another replacement. They sent me the next replacement, and the piece that's supposed to be here was broken off. So they had to send me another piece. And so not to pick on X Transbots, because I bought the Fans Toys Power Glide and the wings out the box fell through. The screw holes were too big and the wings just fell right through the hole. So, there was that. I have, I can just like grab stuff that's around me that I probably have issues with. And it's the Silverbolt I just got had a broken piece off, on one of the wings. And so it's just like, for me, it's just bad luck all around. So I can't necessarily pick one. I would say probably the one that irritated me the most, though, would probably where I actually like sat it down and was just like, okay, I'm done. I'll be back in the morning, was probably the Ultra Magnus, though, from X Transbots. I could not get the waist to click on, and I kept on doing it and doing it and doing it, and it would not clip. And that was the only part that was messing up for me. So that's probably one of the most frustrating for me that I can think of. I'm sure if I look around, I can probably pick something else out that would be equally as frustrating.
Cool. So let me go catch up on some of the comments. So from earlier, let's see. RJ Eagle, back when we were speaking of comics, RJ Eagle said, well said, guys, regarding Starscream in the first issue. Totally agree with you guys. Also poor Bumblebee, but also, what that's leading to. When he got a certain injury. RJ Eagle says Shockwave was a great character. Duke Nukem says there is also Transformers Prime that had a one-on-one fight mode. And Charlie C says Hasbro had a controller type plugin to a TV type Transformers fighting game back in 2007/8. RJ Eagle says even if a Transformers was a DLC for the new Mortal Kombat game, that would be great, just like the Omni-Man from Invincibles appearing in the new Mortal Kombat 1 game. And let's see, Shiva Kobe says, well, Starscream killing Bumblebee is a nice switch from Starscream killing Cliffjumper in TF Prime. And RJ Eagle says, yeah, we need a Transformers fighting game. I think it will sell big time. Ryu versus Megatron. That would be funny.
Never.
Someone had a YouTube video of Galvatron G1 versus She-Run, a Filmation version, in a Mugen fight, but I think the video and or account got deleted, but it was amazing. So they jump back up to more recent comments. Let's see. So RJ Eagle said that. Jonathan Walker then replied to RJ Eagle, I call those poor drink bots. Jonathan Walker says right now it's a X Transbots fuzz. Yeah. I'm so afraid to transform it.
Yes. I changed my answer.
And Professor D says, I'm with Micah. I don't look at instructions, but I mentioned last week I was disappointed as a kid when they switched from quality pics to trash illustrations that you've shown, which have gotten worse. And RJ Eagles says, for me, it's Cybertron Primus with all of them cyber keys. And so then Jonathan Walker says, to add to RJ Eagle's question, is there a company that you are done with or afraid to buy from? And have you gotten burned too many times?
Yeah, X Transbots. I have pretty good luck on my figures, but I had a figure from them. I dropped it about 6 inches onto my bed, and the leg popped off. The mushroom peg just ripped off. And I got a replacement. Never transformed it. Don't plan on transforming it. But that was my sign never to buy them again. Now they are doing some obscure characters coming up that I'm interested in, and but yeah, other than that, I won't buy from them. If it's something that we won't get from another company, I might. But that one experience left such a bad taste in my mouth that I am completely out on anything that they do, unless they hit that weird note that I like.
I think the one that and I can't say that I'm out on any of them because I wouldn't have any Transformers if that was the case if I stopped buying the company. So I think the one that recently has been hell for me is the Toy World Constructor, but with the weathering. And I got that thing. There's so much paint on it, which it looks amazing, but nothing tabs in correctly or whatever. Like everything is trying to transform it. Everything is stuck. I guess it's just paint or whatever. On 5 of the 6 figures, something broke. And I sent it back. I got a replacement. And again, I kind of keep everything sometimes around. But I said, I'm just going to combine it. And the whole crotch just broke out of it. So the ratchets and everything, the spring, the whole plastic, I took it apart to see if I could, put them back together. And the whole plastic part that was holding it down broke off. So they just sent me another crotch piece. And I said, okay, I'm just going to literally combine it and put it away. I'm not going to transform anything. And it's sitting over here to the side. And so that was a big issue. But honestly, I've had, if you pick a company that you love, I can say there was a QC issue with it. And, Fans Toys, I love Fans Toys. I have just about every single one of them. And my Jazz was broken, and I hate when it's not a quick fix where it's something where I have to push out a pin. I actually got a pin extractor now because I was just having so many issues. So, yeah, it's bad.
So I take it you're not going to get the X Transbots Devastator.
Oh yeah, I am. Yeah. If I give up, it's gonna be the newest thing is that the punch counter punch has issues. I'll get it. When my Make Toys Jet Seekers, the mushroom peg on the fist are all backwards. So one fist they're supposed to bend up this way. One will go this way, the other will go this way. So it's just
wow.
It doesn't matter. I get that one.
So Professor D said, did Freakenstein say which figure it was that was so bad for 500?
Yeah, it's that Toy World's Knight Orion. I believe that's what his name was, Knight Orion.
Cool. And Duke Nukem says, my X-Transbots Power Glide broke after a few transformations. The arms broke and they ran out of replacement parts. All of the used X-Transbots Power Glides that I see online are missing their arms.
See, I'm about to contact these companies and tell them to send me all their broken pieces so I can use it for my board. So in the beginning of this stream, I showed you guys that TNT black Jetfire, and this is what he looks like in the transform mode.
Very techie looking.
And,
very cool.
And it's only $14 American.
I was just looking at the Sky Thunder. He's only 22.
Yeah, and like it's not a bad character at all. Like for the price, this is what I think Hasbro should be charging for their toys. So to be honest with you, is like this price, because this is better than any Hasbro toy I've bought so far this year, and it does have this where it comes apart, but it doesn't fall apart. It just comes apart, right? Like you can have them without it at all, and he kind of looks like the spaceship from Aliens.
Yeah.
Remember the spaceship from Aliens?
The Nostromo.
Well, I don't know the
Was
damn
that the
name,
first
bro.
movie? Alien.
Yeah, I don't know. This looks like that carrier that they were all flying in, you know, and like it does have the gimmick where the wheels come out and everything, so you can have them land or whatnot. But like, it's just a good character for the $14 that it was, 20 Canadian. But you know, I hope they make more. I really do. I want to see more from this TNT company, whoever they are, because in the third world party, there's a lot of companies again that are the same company, just different names.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. RJ Eagle says, dang, PC issues are really serious and scary. I feel for you guys at TFBot and at Freakenstein.
Yeah.
Yes, pray for
Well,
me.
that's part of the game. That's part of the game, right? You know,
Well-
like it's either you doing it or a broken piece that already come because of shipping issues or just bad manufacturing and stuff like that. And you know, Deceptikitty will agree with this, with the technology that we have nowadays, especially because he's a 3D printer guy. You know, they should be able to perfect these toys where we're not going to break them. We should be getting the good quality plastics, the good quality metals, the pins, everything. And it's just, again, it's reached the point where research and development is more cost than anything. It costs more than actually producing the toys now, which has gotten out of hand.
Well, yeah, I think I mentioned this last week on your show. Is that like they're not really selling so much as the individual product. They're selling the production process. Like how do they go from pellets to like a Skyfire or something like that? And yeah.
So Shiba Kobe says, I got a Kingdom Air Razor that had a hip leg joint issue. I had to do a bit of shaving down with a file and then was able to pop it in properly.
I actually got tired of this. So now anytime I have an issue, I go back to the company. I'm like, I need a new one. I paid too much for it. You know, I think my first I got Dr. Egg, so one of the quintessons, and the electronics didn't work. And I just saw online that everybody was kind of having issues with it, and I just accepted it. Not now. If I buy something, it doesn't work or it's broken, I hit up the after sale or customer service. I was like, I need another one. And
See, that's why I didn't buy the other Dr. Egg, is because I have problems with mine.
yeah, but I mean, it's I find that because I'll look at reviews and I'll see other people that don't have any problems, and I'm like, okay, I'm the guy who has the problem, so that means that there's other ones out there that aren't problems, and I need one of theirs. So
Yes.
you can take this one back, or send me another. And I mean, I had when they did the quintessons again, the judge, not the judges, but the whatever, the two newest ones. I had issues with one. The company said, keep it, we'll send you another one. So it was, I also think by buying so many figures, I have a good relationship with some of the companies, and so they're like, okay, we don't even ask any questions. If you have a problem, we'll send you another one.
Yeah, usually they're like that. Most companies are like that. Hasbro isn't always so good with the quality control, but it's been like that for the past 20, 30 years, where quality control is done by the customers now, right? If there is a problem, you just send it back. And that, that kind of lowers the cost of the product. But the problem with, all those technologies going up with manufacturing, so is the cost of manufacturing things, plastics and pins, and the prices are just going up. So they're trying to figure out ways to reduce the costs, and pushing that job onto the consumers is one of them.
See, and I got this, right? I finally got the replacement piece for this guy, this Optimus Prime. It's a KO Optimus Prime, but the only die-cast piece really in it, it broke. And like, there's literally nothing I could do to fix it because it's a pin and I don't have one of them pin pushers. And I tried everything, but you see, it just broke right there. And it was a die-cast piece that actually broke. So I feel you on that. And because I bought this off of Alibaba Express, trying to get them to even send me a replacement piece was a 3-month battle. I've had this guy for 3 months now, and I have not been able to review him. And he's a great character. Like, he's even got the weapon storage underneath. It all folds up, and you can put the weapon storage all underneath, and it all looks like truck pieces, and it covers a lot of stuff that, like the legs and stuff like that, so it doesn't look like it's legs and everything. But how am I supposed to fix something when I don't have the tools? And you just gave me the idea to buy the pin pusher there, because I never even thought about buying a pin pusher. I try to stick everything I can in that damn hole to get that pin out, and nothing, it's not even moving, so.
Or get a watch repair kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are two things. I mean, I have a lot of watches, and so it was something that I kind of had, but you'll be surprised, and it makes a world of difference. We shouldn't have to do it, but if we're going to do it, make your life easy and don't damage the plastic around the pin.
Yeah. Well, thank God it's not plastic, but because it's metal, it's in there so good. Like, I can't even get it out. Like even these pins for the windows. Okay, I have to stick a what do you want to call it, a scrubber or whatever. I use a guitar pick, but I have to stick the guitar pick in there and like really wiggle it out because the pins are so damn tight. And that's the problem too. That's why it broke, is because the pin is so damn tight that I couldn't get it to move correctly, and I just wrenched it too much and it went. So
for the pins, you need a drill press. You got to put like a nail in there and just.
It's got to be stretched out a little bit or something. I don't know. I'm just worried. Like, it still transforms, right? Like, even though it's broken, it still transforms both in robot and alt mode. It's just that piece falls out. Like, it just falls out. And when you got in truck mode, it does stay secure. That's not falling out. But when it's in robot mode, if I turn them this way, it's definitely falling out. But if I leave them straight, it's fine. But it's a good Optimus Prime. I really like them.
What was it?
I'm back in Petersburg this week, so 4 o'clock comes real early. So I got to roll on out of here. Peace out. I'll see y'all next week, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, Mr. Magnus. And
Nice seeing you, Mr. Magnus.
so we will be wrapping up shortly. The RJ Eagle does say, honestly, I think the over-engineering of these figures sacrifices the quality. We're paying a huge price for getting top accurate Transformer designs.
Sometimes, yeah.
And then also questions over to Freakenstein. RJ Eagle says $14 where, and he must buy. And he also says thanks at Professor D for the KO Blitzway Voltron info. It's been pre-ordered.
So the site that I use the most is bumblebee.net. And if you have not heard of them, go check out the website. It's a really good website for this alone. If every website that I go to is sold out of something, 99% of the time, they still have a copy. So if you're missing something, your best bet is to check out bumblebee.net. And if I'm being honest, I also use Show Z Store a lot too, because they're fast shipping to Canada. Other toy stores are great, but it's the shipping. Waiting 3 months for something I can't do, because I do Transformer reviews. Because I do Transformer reviews, I want to be the first. If I can't be the first, I want to be in the first top 10. And by using those other stores, I'll never be in the first top 10. So, I recommend both them stores. But to get the best deals, Bumblebee for sure. For sure, 100%.
So Duke Nukem says, I have a pin pusher. I cannot get the pin out of my New Age Nightbird's backpack to install an upgrade kit. I am grateful that it was not a repair that I could not perform. So before we wrap up, some questions back over to Bot versus Con. The question that we like to ask everyone, in terms of your collections, do you do you prefer keeping figures in the box or out?
Out of the box. They're at the end of the day, they're toys. They need to be played with. So I open up all of my figures unless it's a duplicate or it's something like I talked about, the Optimus and Megatron 2-pack from Beast Wars. That's on my wall, still in its packaging because it means something to me. But other than that, they all get opened up.
Yeah, mine eventually get opened up. I have a lot of figures come in, so it's hard to get to them. I mean, I may have 10, 15, 20 figures coming in a week, and I'll open 2 or 3, depending on how they fall. Like, I may get 2 today, and it's like, okay, great, I can open both of these. But then tomorrow I'll have 8. It's like, okay, I still haven't figured out the first 2, and so it's easier to put them away in the boxes until I'm able to get to them. But then, again, I had a video of 100 and something figures that I need to open. So
cool. And before we wrap up, again, everyone that's watching, like the video. So another question to you guys: if anything were to happen to your collection, which figure would you hold on to or run in to save?
A singular figure. I would either go with my original Cryotech or my Universe Razorclaw.
I can already see the wheels turning. I'm grabbing everything.
Yeah,
I'm getting 3rd-degree burns. They're all coming out.
Yeah, I'm helping the fire department. That's what's happening. No, honestly, I have. Oh, what would I? Honestly, it would have to be whatever's closest to me because I have huge cases where my figures are in. So I'd have to find the locks, the keys for the locks, and stuff like that. So it would probably be whatever I can get a hold of. But I have an insurance policy on my collection, so it would hopefully be able to get replaced for most of it.
See, now that's something that someone should definitely make now. You get yourself what's called Ultra Magnus hammer. That's real metal, and you put it on the wall. In case of emergencies, break case.
I should see. I had Deceptikitty pulled up the image.
Yeah, there he is. There he is. That's one of my favorite figures. I love everything about it, and I hope we get one from Hasbro. But I'm even more hopeful we get one from my Transart or another company.
I see a TF bot disagreeing with this one.
Yep.
Yeah, this is why I love what James and I do. There's no way in the world I'd pick this figure up.
Now, see, earlier in the show, you guys said, you guys just met, and now it feels like you guys have known each other forever, right? And I find that's kind of a lot with everybody that's in the Transformer community that actually really does have a passion for it, because like you guys fit into this show like you've always been here, you know what I mean? Like, and I told these guys before you guys even got on the show, I said, you guys got great dynamic together, and you guys would be great guests for this show, and that's why I suggested you guys come on here. And like you said, it's like you guys known each other forever. Like me and Deceptikitty's known each other for a few years now, and it's like we've been best friends, forever. I've known Spin for we met Spin and everybody else at the same con as well in 2021. It's just that we didn't actually know each other. They knew me for the guy riding around with a wagon with the self-transforming Optimus Prime, and like we didn't even talk, but we started talking, and boom, they invited me on the show, and I've been here ever since. And it's great to have this outlet where we can all talk about what we're passionate about, because we can't just do that in the real world. Like some of us are 40, 50 years old, and we talk to other adults that they're like, why do you even do that? Like, what's the point? And it's like they don't get it. They just don't get what it's done for everybody. And I have a question for both of you. What has Transformers done to influence your lives? Big
Well,
question.
besides the connections that I've made with Bobby and a few other people, it's always been a great talking point for me to. I'm not good with connecting with people, so it always, gets that connection going with a lot of people. Just like, oh, you collect Transformers? My wife had to film something. One of her work things was in here, and they saw all the toys, and they were like, she started talking to him about that. It's also been a very good place for me and my dad to connect because he also likes them. He used to get like GoBots and stuff when he was like 17. Everybody else didn't get them, but he was getting them. So we have that connection. Yeah, I mean, it's kept me going. when everything else seems bleak, I'm like, well, I have to wait for that Transart Ravage to come out. So, yeah, it's been a very positive thing in my life.
I would say that it has shown that my wife loves me. She doesn't understand it. She doesn't get it. Hell, I don't understand it, and I don't get it sometimes. But I think that it's given me an outlet. I have a 4-year-old. I work from home. We moved to the suburbs of the suburbs, so I don't hang around my friends as much as I used to. So a lot of life changes happened. I'm not, I live in Atlanta, which is home of the strip clubs, so it's like I don't do strip clubs, I don't do drugs. I'm tied down now, so it's not like I go out hunting women anymore. So it's just like Transformers keeps me alive, I guess. It's just like, it's an outlet
seems
for
like
something.
it keeps you grounded, right?
Yeah, because otherwise I would be bored to death. I'm like, oh my God, I wake up, I have a 4-year-old, and it's great. Don't get me wrong. But it's just like I don't see people, so I work from home. I'm in sales, so I see people on the screen all day. So for me, it's something that's become a talking point. It's something that when I have a meeting or whatever, I may have a Transformer on my desk and I'm just talking to somebody new and I'm like, oh yeah, I collect Transformers. They're like, what? And it's like a whole, side conversation to break the ice.
Nice.
Or if I have people doing work on my home or something like that, and they come down and they see my museum, they're like, dude, this is freaking awesome. I never seen anything like this. And so it's those types of things that it's just like, oh, I'm doing something right.
Yeah, I get that. See, for me, I live in a city called Windsor, Ontario, Canada. And I've been collecting Transformers since 82. And yes, I said 82 because I got the Diaclone Transformers in 82 for presents. Same with my brother. And, throughout my 45 years of life on this planet, I only met 3 collectors. And they were small potatoes compared to what my collection is. And just in the last, I'd say, 5 years, I've been actually able to connect with other people that do collect, and I don't have to explain to them why I have 3,000 Transformers. They understand why I have 3,000 Transformers, right? Like it's something that there's a bond between collectors that whether they're collecting other things too, it's just that for me, it's been very hard in my life to connect with people because there wasn't people. Like these people, we didn't have social things where we could talk about Transformers around here. Nothing like that. It wasn't big at all in my city. When I was a kid, I was pretty much the only kid in my whole school that was collecting Transformers. They were all collecting G.I. Joe and He-Man and Voltron and all kinds of things like that. And when I said Transformers, they're like, oh, that's a dumb toy. That's a dumb toy. And it's like, yeah, well, wait until I get your toys in my hands. I'm blowing them up with firecrackers because my robots are cooler.
So before we wrap up, Charlie C says, Freakenstein, don't tell people about Bumblebee. That's a secret. Jonathan Walker says, Bot versus Con, keep up the good work with the channel. Really enjoy watching and appreciate the news. And also says, FYI, I hit the like button 3 times. And Duke Nukem says, I'd save Kingdom Huffer because my son got him for me. It's very cool. And RJ Eagle says, is this Nemesis Tiger Hawk, the Tiger Hawk that we had showed a few minutes ago?
Kind of.
And Duke Nukem says, Bot and Cons are brothers from different mothers. They're a great duo. And
Listen, we're all born from Cybertron.
Yep.
Right?
And Charlie C says, will you guys talk to my wife and tell all the good reasons for collecting?
I got the best reason right here, okay? Just tell her this. Say, it's better than me doing crack, and guess what? And when we retire, they're all worth lots more money, and we'll have a good retirement. Just tell her that. Even if you're never going to sell her the toys. Shh, I didn't say that out loud. But yeah, just tell her that. Say it's an investment. It's like buying gold. The price goes up.
Careful, he might end up on the couch. So RG Eagle says, as a kid, Transformers taught me a lot of big words like antimatter, assimilation, etc. But the TF lore and saga stirs my imagination, and I have a deep appreciation of their intelligent designs. And Duke Nukem says, I went all in on Transformer collecting when I found myself in family court hell. Sorry to hear that. And it was is a much need escape and a connection to a comparatively stress-free childhood. And RJ Eagle says, like Freakenstein, I also started with Diaclones like Cassette Man, 6-in-1 Construct Bot, which is Devastator, and maybe it was an early KO, bought them at a flea market at a mall back in the day. And actually, I think Freakenstein, Deceptikitty has, there we go.
Man.
Yep, early Cassette Man. And Shiba Kobe says, best reason, make funny photo comics. Cool. So,
I got something funny coming for stop animation. Hopefully I can get it done in time, but if I can't, I'm gonna have to outsource to somebody somewhere. The MP trailer, the gray one, not the clear one, because I got a clear one. I just have never been able to find the gray trailer anywhere. I know people got like 4 or 5 of them, but you think they'll give one up? No. It's like, what the hell, man? Like, give me one. I'll buy it. I don't care. I just need one, you know? Or they need to remake it or reissue it or whatever the case may be, because like I need one. But I got a funny roller stop animation that I've been doing with the new roller that came out, the transforming roller. I told Deceptikitty about it, but I'm gonna make everybody wait for it because to me it's hilarious. Deceptikitty thinks it's funny too, so it'll be a good transition for kind of what the world's reflecting right now with using a roller character.
Cool. So as we wrap up for the evening, I want to say thank you to TFBot and the con for rolling through. Where can people find you?
Well, definitely you can find us on our YouTube channel at Bot versus Con. We actually started trying to get a little bit more active on social media, so you can find us on Instagram and Facebook, as well as TikTok. And not a lot to see there currently, but we're working on that. All of those are at Bot versus Con.
You should get onto Clapper. It's blowing up right now. If you've not heard of it, get onto it. It's kind of like a TikTok, but it's called Clapper. And I've already made 53 cents. And I've only been using it for like 2 months now, but I just throw up all my short videos and stuff like that on there. And I looked at it today and I'm like, 53 cents, why? Well, it's just because of the views you get. It doesn't work like any other platform like that I've seen. It shows you that you're making money like right off the bat.
Nice.
Yeah. That's nice.
James, get to it.
The name like Clapper, we'll see.
I was waiting when you said it. I was waiting for my lights to go off. I was like,
You know? So I got a question for you guys. Now that you've gone live with us, how do you feel about going live with your channel?
So that's something we actually have been talking about since the beginning, is that would be fun to do, especially live debates, you know, like what we're talking about. So time will tell. We have things in the works. I think that's good enough for now before I stick my foot in my mouth.
For me, I gotta thank Spin every time for keeping up with the comments, because one of my biggest beliefs, especially for my channel as well, because like I'm trying to do more live stuff too, is to actually connect with the people that are actually in the room and make them feel like they're a part of this conversation, a part of the discussion or the debate or whatever what's going on. And he does a really great job at doing that. And I think that's important for you know, doing YouTube channels, is to actually connect with the other people that aren't doing channels, that aren't, you know, but watch us, like make them a part of it. And I think it's a great concept to do. And I hope you guys implement that in your channel, because like every time I watch you guys, it's always like hours after or whatever, because of the time zone differences and whatnot and stuff like that. But like, I would love to get up on your channel and start typing some stuff and having you guys answer things that you guys are talking about, because that's one thing that, you know, you can't do really on your channel until afterwards in the comments. But like, I really think you guys got a great dynamic going. I think your channel's going to do really well. So I would like to see you guys going live.
well, you know, and I'll shed a little bit more on that. You know, it is something that, you know, I'm really big on the comments that we get. I try to respond to everybody in a very timely manner. You know, as I mentioned, I have a 4-year-old, so it sometimes gets a little bit difficult, but you know, I try to respond to everybody, and I do really appreciate the, you know, the people, the views, the subscribers, the likes, the comments. I mean, we really appreciate all that. And you know, with that being said, you know, please like, subscribe to Bob vs. Con. But you know, it's something that we wouldn't be here if, you know, Frankenstein, if you didn't reach out to us, you know, a few months ago. So to say that the fans are everything is an understatement. You know, anybody that subscribes to us, anybody that follows us, anybody that spends the time checking out any of our videos, whether it's for 30 seconds or for an hour, you know, we just really appreciate that you come to hear what two you know, knuckleheads have to say about Transformers, you know, and it's something that, you know, we do plan on doing some more, or not doing more, but this was kind of our jump start to see, hey, live is fun. Let's go ahead and start doing it. And now it's a matter of, what are we going to do when we're live? And that's the part that, you know, we're kind of keeping under wraps.
Well, you can do the same thing, man. You literally, I think you guys can do the same thing, but just live, because like you guys have a lot of information that I normally wouldn't get to, because like for me, I'm all in on this. Okay. I've talked to you guys about it a little bit, but like I'm all in on this. I'm not going nowhere. Whether my channel makes you know, makes it or not, I'm still gonna be here. So, you know, the interaction that I've had with you guys on your channel, you do respond, which is awesome. I've made that same promise to everybody. You know, I don't care if you say one word or give a thumbs up, I'm going to respond back, because I truly believe without people watching, without people liking or subscribing, you know, the channel just wouldn't be as fun for me. I'd still do it, but it wouldn't be as fun. Like everybody makes this fun. Since I met these guys, they've given me lots of inspiration, and you know, I appreciate everybody in this Transformers world.
Cool. And then thank you for the compliments, Freakenstein. It's I will say to you guys, once you start doing the lives, it is a bit of extra work. But Professor D, who I mentioned earlier, me and him used to work. We used to have a rap group before, and I used to be the DJ. So I'm able to kind of like watch the crowd, watch what the MC on the stage is doing, and kind of like, you know, simultaneously keep everything in order. So that's why it's somewhat easy for me to, you know, interact with the guests, interact with the comments, and keep everything flowing. But it's not an easy job. So I will say that to you guys beforehand, but you get into the flow of things and it does get easier. But it is a lot of fun engaging like with the live comments and just everyone and trying to keep up. And again, you know, very appreciative for both of you guys coming down. And I know initially we had mentioned the 22nd, which is the Florida TFCon. One of our members lives in Florida, so hopefully, and he's going to be at a TFCon, so hopefully he can connect with you guys and you know, and see what can be, you know, if he either would do a stream from TFCon or just to connect with him with everything. Yeah, but again, you know, thank you for coming through.
Of course. Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, we really appreciate the invite. Excuse me. We're actually planning on doing something with Frankenstein while we're down there. So
nice.
So, you know, anybody that's at TFCon, look us up. I mean, James, you'll probably be able to recognize because of the beard. I may be a little bit, you know, hidden or whatever, but you know, we'll have some new shirts out as well. So
nice.
You know.
So yeah, that's a good shirt. I was going to ask you to show it off. And where can people get that shirt?
So again, something new that's coming to the channel. So it is something that we're looking at doing, which is merchandise. So we're working on the back end of it. So kind of seeing what, you know, who's interested, and if we have enough interest, then it will go out to more people than just me and James.
Well, I want one.
All right.
Noted.
Definitely. So Charlie C said, thank you guys. So again, thank you guys. And as we end, one thing that we hold on, and Jonathan says, I will buy a shirt to support the channel. Very, very cool.
Thank you.
So as we end our stream, what we like to say before we end is to all are one. So to all of our fans,
all are one.
To all are one.